Hi, everybody. My name is Heather Nichols, and I'm here with the lovely Lisa Murray. Hi.
Hi, Heather.
Lisa is from Australia. Where in Australia do you live again?
I live in Noosa,
In Noosa.
so it's a really beautiful. Yeah.
Awesome. And I live all over, but right now I'm in Boulder, Colorado, which is one of my main homes. And Lisa has a really phenomenal story about just some amazing things that she's done and added to her life that have really changed everything about her life and just taken her from really being quite burned out to having a really just phenomenally amazing life. And I've been working in with natural healing and all different types of healing modalities for 20 years, and I think Lisa's story is pretty miraculous. And so I wanted to interview her around what's changed for her and what tools she has used to really create the change in her life that she gets to enjoy today. So Lisa, tell us a little bit about your story and what your life was like and what it is like now.
Wow. Okay. Well, I had like 8 years ago really, really severe burnout, actually. Like when you said a bit of burnout, I was like, oh, it was a bit more than that, actually. I couldn't like stay out of bed for longer than 3 hours. People would say, would you like some chocolate? And I'd be like, what? Because I literally couldn't remember and I couldn't cognitize what they were saying to me. So it was fairly intense when I quit my job. And like I'd worked in corporate for a really long time and I just had a really crazy job that was just say a lot understaffed. And so I was in this space where literally I wasn't really functioning very well at all. And I quit my job and I took about a year and I tried like all sorts of different natural therapies. And I was having massages every week and because everyone was saying, oh, you've just got to look after yourself. And I'm like, sure, okay, let's do that then. And it really didn't make that much difference. It was really interesting. I spent a lot of money, like thousands and thousands of dollars on different people. And at the end of it, I wasn't as tired. I could talk better, but like my body still ached. Yeah, it was good that I could talk better. I was a bit tired at the beginning of not really being able to do anything. My friends were very tolerant, you know? And so um, it was like, yeah, a year later, I was like, okay, something really has to change here because I was not going to live the rest of my life like this. And like all the people I was going to see were like, you just have to stop. You have to do nothing or you'll have chronic fatigue. And I was like, no, that's not how it's going to be for me. And I was really, well, when you're like, there's something, you don't know what it is yet, but there's something else. And that was the space I was in. And I went to a Mind Body Spirit festival in Brisbane, and I kind of went with the point of view of, oh well, maybe there'll be something. I wasn't like going, oh my gosh, I'm going to find the answer. And I was just walking around, and I actually at that time, I was pretty much anxious 24/7. Crowds for me were really overwhelming, so I wasn't exactly overjoyed to even go there. But I felt like if I went, maybe I'd find something. So I went, and one of the things I found was access bars. And when I say I found it, it was like my body propelled me to that stand. And so, yeah, so it was really amazing. It was like I looked at the picture of the bars and my body was like, go over there. And like for anyone who's going, your body doesn't talk to you. Yes, it does. Mine did. And that was before. So, yeah, that's the beginning of it, I guess. What would you like to know?
You cut out there. What was the last thing that you said?
Oh, I just say, well, that was the beginning of, the change, really, when I found access bars. So, yeah, what would you like to know? Because there's lots of things I could tell you.
Right. So what changed? I mean, obviously, you had done lots of different things. You had tried, lots of things that sort of semi kind of sort of worked. And then this came into your life and there was a big change. So what happened? What did you notice?
Yeah, well, I got my bars. Yeah, thank you. I got my bars run at the festival, and I was like, oh my gosh, it was like the first space I'd ever had in my life. And I was so excited. And I was saying to the woman, okay, so when can you run them properly, like for a long time? Because a normal session of bars is maybe 90 minutes, and like 20-minute taster, well, that was a start, but it wasn't enough. Anyway, so she did that a couple of days later. And then I went and did a class like a few days after that, because I was just so excited, because this was this thing that made me actually feel good. And I hadn't felt good probably in a couple of years by this stage. So it was like a miracle to me.
Yeah.
And yeah.
It's so
So I learned the bar.
you now. Like you're so bubbly, and you always have, every time I talk to you, you have like so much energy, and you're always like creating all this magic in your life. And it's like, I can't even imagine you not being able to get out of bed for 3 hours, like, or for more than 3 hours. That's like, yeah. Wow.
Well, I am really grateful, because like that literally was it. And for a long time, like there was, even at the end of that year, I could stay out of bed, but I didn't feel good.
Yeah.
I wasn't sparkly, bubbly, happy. I was just like getting through my days. And it wasn't like I had to go to work, like I was literally just hanging out at home, seeing a few business coaching clients. And that was pretty much all I could do.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I learned bars, like I went to a bar swap every week at least once for the first year. And I would say it changed 99% of my symptoms.
Wow.
To the point where, yeah, I know. And it was. And, when I look at it now, I'm just like, wow. It's like, oh, I feel a bit, because when it's like a tiny bit better each time, you don't always notice that you're getting better. But then when I look at sort of the beginning of when I was there, and then like a year later, it was like such a huge difference.
Yeah.
So that was really exciting. And yeah,
we have a little bit of a delay. I would imagine that because like sometimes when we make these big, like when there's big changes that happen, it's almost like we get to a space that we knew was kind of like what was true for us, and so it's almost sort of like hard to see the change sometimes, because it's like, well, here I am, and of course, because this is what I always knew was possible.
Yeah.
Even when you're in bed, it's like,
yeah.
And I think so many people, like, we just keep going and going and going. And then it's like, it's so valuable sometimes to actually just go, wait a minute, I'm actually going to look back and see, like, really, truly, where was I and where am I now, and how much has changed. And sometimes even just taking a moment to do that is like, can be really, it can just increase the gratitude that we have and the acknowledgement of what we've actually done, what we've chosen, what we've created for ourselves and our bodies. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Oh, it's so true, because like, the last 3 years, I have been like basically wildly going around the planet, running classes and, having fun, really, having a really good time with my business. And like, I'm running 2 businesses plus consulting to a 3rd one on a really regular basis, plus writing like for people. And like, I'm working more than I probably ever worked in corporate, but it doesn't feel like work. Yeah. And it really, the access tools are so amazing for that, because like every day is a play day. And my friends like think I'm a freak, because they're like, how can you do all this and how does it work? And I'm like, well, it just does, because if you live in the question and you start to ask, well, what is possible? So much can happen. Like if you said to me 8 years ago, 5 years from now, you're going to like travel around the planet, run classes all over the world, I would have said, yeah, right, in your dreams, Yeah. And like, here it is. It's all happening. And it just gets more and more fun, and more amazing things show up every year. So this is the beauty of these tools.
Yeah. Because as I mentioned in the beginning, I've been doing this type of work since like 1997. And I've taught meditation and yoga, and I did a lot of different types of work with the body and energy work and coaching and all of that. And because I was always so fascinated by change, like how can we create change and how can we include our bodies in change and just feel better? Because I have a lot of stories of my own of just not feeling great, feeling foggy headed or tired or whatever, and just sort of like always kind of working on it, because I knew that there was something else like, I just wasn't willing to accept that as my life, that I would be tired all the time or not able to sleep or whatever was going on for me. And so when I found Access Consciousness, you know, I don't know, 16 years in, you know, it was like,
Yes.
oh my gosh, I've never seen something that has created so much change so fast. And really, the bars are like a place where a lot of people start. It's so the Access Bars is a hands-on modality. It's an energy work modality where you just lightly touch different points on the head, and it just creates change. It just clears all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff that we have that runs our lives and our bodies and keeps limitation in place. And it's kind of magical and miraculous the way that it works, because you don't really have to know what it is that you're clearing, what it is that's being released when you have your bars run. It's just very deeply relaxing and can feel like you've had a great massage, or your whole life can change like it has for Lisa. And so it's just what I love about it is it's so easy and accessible. Like anybody can do it. My kids run my bars, so they just hold my head, like different. I just put their hands on my head and they just watch TV and hold my head. And 10 minutes later, I'm like, oh, this is so good.
Yeah. And you know, I think that's one of the things that I love so much about it is that, you know, I've even been known to hold my own head sometimes if I was traveling and there was no one there, where literally you've got this thing that's first aid, right? It's literally like if you're ever out of sorts with yourself, you run this for 5 or 10 minutes even, and your world changes.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you've got space and you've got ease. And I just think it's so magic. It's just one of those things that I'm so grateful I found, or maybe I should say I'm so grateful my body found it. It knew.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
just see, like, I've heard so many just miracle stories like yours of, and I mean, I know how much my life has changed in the probably 4 years that I've been playing with these tools. And I've really, my business has become so much more about this, like the work of Access Consciousness, simply because it's just, I haven't really ever found anything that creates this much change this fast. And what's so cool about it is, like you mentioned, Lisa, you know, you had your bars run and then you just took a bars class. And so one of the things that I think is amazing about the Access Bars, is that it is very accessible. You don't have to do, you know, like 3 years of energy work training to know how to do it. Like I said, my kids can do it, or anybody can just put their hands on your head if they know where to put their hands, and the bars will actually run. And so it's a 1-day class that you can take. There's people all over the world that facilitate these classes. And, you know, Lisa mentioned bars swaps. And once you've taken the class, people that have taken this class, like they want to do swaps. They want to trade with each other and gift each other sessions. And so those go on all over the world as well. So I just love that, because you know, it's not like you have to get into like a thing with a practitioner where you know, you're sort of, you have to go to them in order to have whatever it is that they have that you don't have. It's not like that.
Yeah. Well, you know, like that first year, I spent literally thousands and thousands of dollars. And the second year, I spent almost nothing.
Yeah.
I basically paid for the bars class and I swapped with people. And that was really what created the change, you know? So how does it get better than that? Like, and this is the thing. It's like people go, oh my gosh, you know, it's so expensive. And I'm like, no, it's $300 for 1 day. And you get, you know, you can swap with people for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Like,
I always get free energy work for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, you know.
You cut out. What did you say?
I just think compared to what I paid, it seems very, very, you know, good value to me.
Yeah, I know. I spent lots and lots and lots of money on. I mean, I live in like I live in Boulder, Colorado, so people call Boulder like the therapy theme park of the world, you know, like there's like all kinds of everything here, you know, everything that you can imagine, we have it here in Boulder. So and I've done all of it. So yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Well,
Yeah.
I just love your
We
story.
should tell people.
What's that?
Yeah, I just think we should tell people where they can find out. Tell people where they can find out about us.
Yeah.
So if you went to consciousness.com, you would find out lots of places and people where you can learn about bars, have your bars.
Yeah. And you cut out a little bit, so I'm not sure if it's if it's going to show up on the video or not, but it's accessconsciousness.com. And there's people all over the world, literally in almost every country in the world, that either do sessions or facilitate these one-day classes that you can go and learn to do the work and you know, get connected with people. And there's actually, depending on when you watch this video, there's a global Access Consciousness bars class that is happening. One of the co-creators of Access Consciousness, Dr. Dane here, is going to be facilitating a class that is going to be live streamed all over the world, coming up on, it's May 5th in the US and May 6th in Australia.
Yes. In Australia, yeah.
Yeah. But so wherever you are, what's that?
Yeah, I was going to say, we've pretty much filled the Brisbane venue. We're full. So it's pretty much a live stream, or there might be even a pod for some people where you can actually go and, you know, swap bars with other people while you're watching the class. Yeah. So, and you can find all of that actually for that particular event at www.5daysofchange.com.
Yeah. And it's the number 5 days of change. Yeah.
And yes, it is the number 5 thing.
Yes. On the Access Consciousness site as well. But that site is really, it's got some great information, some videos, things like that. So yeah, it's just, and you know, this story of, I mean, it's just, these stories sometimes are almost like hard to believe for people that much change can happen that fast. And what's amazing about this work is that we're gonna keep creating these videos because there's so many different areas of life that people have found this kind of change in. Whether it's like for me, it's changed a lot with my parenting and my relationship with my kids. People's money flows change. People's, you know, have other health stuff that changes. I mean, anything that you're looking to have greater ease with in your life there's miracle stories all over the world about what's changed for people from the access bars, and it's such a gift. So yeah, if it's at all inviting to you, check it out and see if you can find someone in your area to play with. So yeah. Well, thank you, Lisa. I always love talking to you, and your story is it's fun and juicy and such an invitation for like creating so far beyond what we even think is possible.
Yeah. Well, you know, I was wondering if it was possible at one point there, because it was like everywhere I went, people were like, and 10 years getting better. And I'm like, 10 years getting better. So I'm really grateful. I found bars and it was really a lot quicker than that.
Yeah. Awesome. That's so great. Cool. Well, so www.accessconsciousness.com, and thanks for watching and tuning in, and how much fun can you have today? Bye, everybody.
Yeah.